From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Did it seem like it was unusually windy last month? Well, if you thought that, you are not wrong. This March came in like a lion, but the lion didn't ever seem to want to leave. Even though it is typically the windiest month of the spring, this March was the windiest on record in many U.S. cities and in the nation at large. AccuWeather meteorologists found that almost every major city east of the Rockies ranked first or second for the highest average wind gusts for March. Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Little Rock, Kansas City, Indianapolis, and Chicago all broke their previous average wind gust record for March by a margin of 1 mile per hour or more. Indianapolis was the windiest of the windy cities, breaking the previous average wind gust record of 33.7 miles per hour, set back in 2022, by 1.5 miles per hour with a reading of 35.2. D.C., New York City, Raleigh, Miami, New Orleans, Amarillo, Dallas, Minneapolis, and Sioux Falls also ranked this March as the windiest on record, and records for these cities go back nearly a century in some cases. Over 1,500 reports of wind damage were submitted to the National Weather Service during the month, far more than any previous March since records began there in 1950. Most of these reports were east of the Rocky Mountains. A total of 44 wind gusts over 75 miles per hour were also reported. Throughout March, the National Weather Service issued 124 high wind watches and 164 high wind warnings, both records for any month since records began in the 1980s. On March 4th, the National Weather Service issued 33 high wind warnings, the second most ever issued in a calendar day. On March 14th, Amarillo, Texas, recorded an 83-mile-per-hour wind gust, which appears to be its highest on record since 1949. Lubbock also clocked winds up to 81 miles per hour on March 14th, the highest there since 1976. On March 16th, the weather station at Latrobe, Pennsylvania, gusted to 89 miles per hour, the third highest gust at the station. Zanesville, Ohio, gusted to 76 the same day, its second highest wind gust on record. Clarksburg, West Virginia, set a new all-time wind record of 71 miles per hour on March 16th, and record-keeping began there in 1974. Now, March is typically windy, just not this much. For the West, the Plains, and the Carolinas, March is typically the windiest of the 3 months in meteorological spring, which are March, April, and May, over the western two-thirds of the nation. AccuWeather lead long-range expert Paul Pastelok explained that the spring transition is a bit tough for the atmosphere to handle. The rising of the sun higher in the sky in March over the northern hemisphere can create large temperature differences south to north, which then creates a strong gradient in pressure, which creates wind. This March, unusual storminess over the northern Pacific and unusual high pressure just north of Hawaii came together to create a strong jet stream, pushing an unusual number of unusually powerful storms across the northern U.S., and each of those storms had high winds. La Niña also contributed to that pattern. That's all for now. You can find more stories and regional forecasts at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day, be safe, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.